Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl, and finally it happened. We finally get the details of Matias Maccelli's new contract. Kevin Weeks left us, hanging last night, but almost 24 hours later we finally get the details. Our most important, most significant restricted free agent signing, Matias Maccelli, signs for 3 years, $3.425 million each year, 23 years old, small statured playmaker who worked really well with Lawson Krause and Nick Bukestad last season. Even had some chemistry with Jack McBain once Bukestad was traded to Edmonton. He erupted last season, a breakthrough season in his Calder season. 11 goals, pretty low, but he is a playmaker first and foremost. Rarely shoots. 38 assists, 49 points in 64 games played. He did have an injury during the season, which kind of left him out of top 3 of voting for the Calder nomination, best rookie of the season. He did finish 4th in Calder voting, so that's pretty good for Maccelli. I'm glad he finished 4th. The season before, underwhelming, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points, 23 games played. So that was my worry. My prediction for Maccelli's contract was 3 years, but $2.25 million, just based off, we only have one season we know of Matias Maccelli where he is this player that we all know of him now, that playmaking style, good speed, good puck possession, sort of like a Clayton Keller light. But the season before, he started out pretty well, but he ghosted for a really long period of time, so it looked like he worked on his game during the summer, but straight out of camp, this guy was a machine, working really well, getting great chemistry with Lawson Krause. If he could keep feeding Krause some goals, where Krause becomes a consistent 20 to 25 goal scorer, that would make this contract worth it. 11 goals, a bit low, but like I said, playmaking, I would like that goal total to go up to 15. If you think 49 points is a bit too low, over an 82 game season, he would have 14 goals, 49 assists, and around 63 points. So for me with this contract, I want Maccelli to be a consistent 60-point guy. I don't expect him to be a point per game player. This money isn't for point per game players. 60 points, if he works well with whoever he's paired up with this season, he will be probably on the second line wing position with Bukestad again, but maybe they take Krause out and put Gunther in that second line wing position, or they just reunite that line of Maccelli, Bukestad, or Krause, or maybe they try him in different positions, maybe with Zucker, like I mentioned already, Gunther. There's a lot of options where Maccelli goes. To me, Maccelli is gravy on top of an already deep prospect pool. None of us really was hoping for Maccelli to break through and be this player that he is. He's a late bloomer, a John Shaika pick that we kept tabs on in Finland, and we finally saw him break through last season. So he's just an extra prospect we have that makes our team better offensively. And so hopefully he just continues that, makes our power plays better. Maybe he runs that power play number 2 where he is the guy who controls the puck, whereas Clayton Keller is that guy on PP1. But really happy for Maccelli. I'm glad it's 3 years. Maybe in my opinion, which pretty much no one agrees with, all over Discord and Twitter, everyone's loving this contract, so I'm not going to harp on it too much. Maybe a bit rich for me, but at the end of this contract, he's still a restricted free agent, which is very important. And he gets arbitration rights with this new contract. So if he kind of like falls off the face of the earth and doesn't live up to this contract, the qualifying offer for the Coyotes, if they just want to keep him one more year, not give him a significant raise, is about $4 million, 4.1. So he's still a really cheap guy moving forward, along with the cap increasing by 4 or 5 million next off season. And then we'll see from there how big it increases after that. So in the 3-year future, $4 million will probably be a drop in the bucket for the Coyotes. This contract does not cap strap them, doesn't bring them to the ceiling at all. They can work with it. If it doesn't work out, it's cheap enough where it doesn't harm their future plans with their future prospects that are coming. So congrats to Maccelli. It's going to be an exciting 3 years. And then yesterday as well, Prosvetov signed, or I believe this morning, our goalie prospect, who's been wavering and been hanging around. I predicted he would get a 1 year, $950K contract, pretty much league minimum, which he does get. He gets 1 year, $775,000. It's a two-way contract, so if he goes to Tucson, which he has to clear waivers in order to go to Tucson, which I don't think is an issue. I don't think anyone's going to take a flyer on Prosvetov. As you can see, his numbers just really, really poor. He had a great 3-game streak to start the season last year with the Coyotes. He went 3-0. He had a 950 save percentage. And then after that, he lost 3 out of 4 and had an 820 save percentage. So he's been struggling. I think this is the last year for Prosvetov. They finally moved away from Tendek, his backup last year. They signed a new backup in Tucson. They also have 3 really good goalie prospects in Thornton, Korhonen, and Horrible, which could push for Prosvetov's job at the end of this contract. 24 years old, hasn't really solidified himself as a great American Hockey League goalie and not even an NHL backup. So hoping Prosvetov just figures it out and could be that prospect that we all want him to be. He's just been really struggling everywhere he plays, and just he needs to get it together. In the playoffs, the Tucson Roadrunners playoffs recently, he went 1-2-0, a 527 goals against average, and an 845 save percentage. So he's got to work it out. Other restricted free agents that it's been quiet about, Yan Yannick, his qualifying offer expired. So now it's just a waiting game. If it goes to December 1st, Yannick can't play in the NHL this season. So he has to sign a contract by December 1st. Coyotes retain his rights, have his rights. So the Coyotes pretty much have all the leverage there. And then Jack McBain, his arbitration hearing is July 30th. There's been no movement in getting a contract before then, so we'll wait till July 30th. Happy for Maccelli. Just a great playmaking, exciting player. That's what's most important to me. He makes Coyotes games exciting. He plays like Clayton Keller, makes exceptional passes that you wouldn't even think to make. Like, there's so many times where he makes these passes, whether it's behind the net or across the whole ice, where no one, not even the opposition team, could see this pass coming from a mile away. He just surprises you, and I really do hope he just continues that play and becomes a consistent, 60-point guy, between 50 and 60 points. I'd be really happy with that contract. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.